Joining me now in this Fox Business exclusive is the former CEO of Intel and now the executive chairman of Xlite, Pat Gelsinger, with us. Pat, great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us this weekend. And I want to start right there. You ran Intel. Now you're overseeing a company developing new technologies to make semiconductors. What do you think of this bill? Are you concerned about the United States selling NVIDIA chips to China?
Well, first, great to be chatting with you, Maria. It's so good to be on the program today. And, with regard to the bill, I think, policy needs to be, a balance. Clearly, we don't want the best chips going there. We want to have advantage for our industry and for our nation. At the same time, if you don't sell any chips, they're forced to invest in their own industry. So we need a middle ground that balances the economic objectives and the security objectives. And I think that's been good policy in high performance computing and other areas, for many years. Either extreme, I think, is wrong, but we need a good middle ground that allows us to get the economic advantage, continue to lead our industry, and the security benefits thereof.
It's interesting. On Wall Street on Friday, investors really rushed to snap up shares of artificial intelligence chip maker More Threads. This is a Chinese company. They're betting that Beijing's push to end the reliance on the United States and foreign technology could help create a homegrown NVIDIA. What did you think about that? The company was founded in 2020 by a former NVIDIA executive. It soared more than fivefold at the open on Friday after raising the equivalent of more than $1 billion in a hot IPO, Pat.
Yeah, and I think that emphasizes the comments that, if in fact the economics, only allow them to build their own chips in China, they're of course going to invest in that industry. AI is too important, and that's why we need an export policy that allows our chips to continue to fuel their markets. We get the economic advantage. They're dependent on us, and we continue to lead in this critical area.
The president is looking to boost chip manufacturing in America. He's touting the billions of dollars that Americans have already recouped from his deal with your old company, Intel. Watch this.
They came to see me from Intel, and they had a problem. I said, look, we'll fix your problem, but I think the United States is entitled to 10% of your company. And the chairman looked at me and he goes, you have a deal. Tell them, how much money have we made since I made that deal?
It's only $40 billion.
40 billion. We made $40 billion.
Unbelievable. What a move since the White House took a stake. But the White House is now announcing a $150 million stake in your company, Xlite. Tell us about this announcement, what you're working on, and what this means for America.
Well, first, what is Xlite? And when you think about semiconductor manufacturing, you have these enormous facilities, Maria, $25 billion. And in the center of that is lithography, made by companies like ASML. And in the middle of lithography, light. God said, let there be light. And Xlite, what we're doing is creating more advanced light, higher power light, that makes the fabs and the lithography more productive, so we lower the cost per wafer, but also more advanced light, so we can go to shorter wavelengths, which, as I've described, allows us to wake up Moore's Law, allows us to continue the advancement, all of that by American technology, building on decades of national labs leadership, and obviously having the U.S. government, Department of Commerce, and this being the first agreement that's come out of the new CHIPS program in Department of Commerce. We're thrilled, and I'm quite convinced that this is a critical step in continued semiconductor leadership right here in the USA.
So what else does Xlite need now to gain scale, Pat, and where do you take this company from here? Tell us about the growth expectations of Xlite.
Yeah, and this agreement, we're going to have our first facility, a full end-to-end prototype hooked up to ASML scanners in the New York site that we have there. So really finishing the development. But then we have to turn it into manufacturing sites across the nation. And every one of the major sites in Arizona, Texas, Oregon, Idaho, we need all of them to be attached up to this light source. But we also need to build the supply chain, because we want all of these core technologies, the cryogenics, the accelerators, all of those to be built right here in the U.S. So there's many aspects of this, and we plan to have the first Xlite coming online in 2028 and the first production uses of it in 2029 and beyond, because fundamentally, we need cost advantage to bring these wafers back home, and we see Xlite as a way to have more built here, but also better built here.
I guess what I'm trying to understand is when we are going to see a return on investment from some of the money that is just pouring into data centers and the build out, Pat. I mean, when I spoke with Jensen Huang recently, he was talking about trillions of dollars a year going into the build out of AI and into data centers, Pat. I mean, do you think that that will materialize in the coming years?
Oh, I do. I'm very optimistic. AI has extraordinary productivity advantages for different economies, for businesses, and we're just seeing it across every aspect of medical and business and finance, the benefits that that will bring. And the companies that are making these big investments, it's not just NVIDIA, but the cloud guys, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, all of these have very healthy balance sheets in their investing. But the biggest limiter for our AI build out is energy, right? And fundamentally, we have underinvested in the energy resources of the nation for many, many years. Today, China has 39 nuclear reactors under construction. We have 0. We have to have energy capacity. In a digital AI world, energy capacity is equal to economic capacity. We need more energy to complement the semiconductors and the AI innovation.
I think it's a great point to make, and I would say with that energy and economic security comes national security, right? I mean, these are all national security issues, Pat.
Yeah, strong security only occurs when you have strong economy. And we need the best economy. And as we're moving into this AI age, clearly semiconductors is foundational, but energy policy is equally important. And in fact, that will be the limiter on all of these data center investments that we're referring to, Maria. If I can't power them up, I'll never be able to put chips inside of them and take advantage of the benefits that they bring. We need energy policy. We need manufacturing and semiconductor technology. That's the magic combination for long-term economic and security benefits to our nation.
Pat, it's great to have you. I hope you'll come back soon. We'll be watching Xlite for sure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Pat Gelsinger.